Hey there, my gardeners, growers, and plant lovers. Today I want to tell you about the most amazing tea you can ever make. And it's not for you to drink, it's for your garden. It's called compost tea. So today I'm going to be telling you about compost tea. What is it? What's its benefits? And then how you can make it on your own. Compost tea is a nutrient-rich liquid fertilizer that's teeming with microorganisms that can be used directly in your soil to promote soil health, as well it can be used as a foliar spray. And now, of course, with its main ingredient being compost. Now we can see here that my compost hasn't fully broken down yet. Essentially what you're doing is you're feeding the beneficial microbes that are already present in your compost. These living organisms are going to be your beneficial bacteria, protozoa, nematodes, and fungi. Now the materials that you're going to need for this starts off with a 5-gallon bucket along with a canvas bag. Now it can be a canvas bag, it can be burlap, anything that's going to be able to be permeable but also be able to hold your compost. Next, you're going to need a way to be able to add air into your mixture. So for the sake of this video and for the creation of my compost tea, I'm going to be using an aquarium pump along with some molasses. This is how we're going to feed our microorganisms that's living in our compost tea. And then finally some screen so that we can strain all of the particulates out of the mixture. The next would be compost, because what will be compost tea without the main ingredient being compost? So, like many of you, I do make my own compost, but I don't do so on a large scale. And I'm going to tell you, one of the secret weapons that I've been using for years is actually Living Earth Premium Compost. They're a local distributor making compost from trees and soil native to my microclimate. And of course, if you're making tea, you have to have water. Now, the water that I'm using is actually rainwater that I harvested a couple of weeks ago. Now, of course, if you don't have access to rainwater, you can use dechlorinated tap water. First thing we're going to do is we're going to be adding our rainwater to our bucket. We want to fill it about 3/4 of the way full. You helping me? You helping me? And next, Stormy, hey girl. And next we're going to be adding in about a 1/2 cup of our molasses. This is an important step because this is actually what's going to feed your beneficial microbes. And next I'm going to go ahead and just take my hand and give it a quick turn just to go ahead and stir up that molasses in that water combination. And as you can see, the sweet smells from the molasses has Stormy very interested. Next, what we're going to be doing is adding air. And for this, I'm going to be using an aquarium pump so that I can add air to this mixture. This is a very important step because adding the air is essentially what's going to help you create the tea. Because if you don't add the air, essentially all you're making is a compost extract and you won't pull all of those beneficial microbes out of the compost. Additionally, adding air stops it from being an anaerobic situation where essentially you're just fermenting your concoction. This is why I'm highly opposed to the implementation of banana peel water because there's no air being added to that equation at all, and all you're doing is promoting harmful bacteria. And now it's time to go ahead and add in our compost to our tea bag. Generally speaking, what you want is about 2 to 3 pounds, or about a 1/4 of the size of the 5-gallon bucket that you're using. Look how deep and rich that compost is. That's going to make a nice compost tea. And now that we have that compost in our tea, we're just going to go ahead and dunk it down into the bag and making sure that all of that water and molasses mixture mixes in with our compost, pushing it down as further as we possibly can. Now, we are going to let this steep for about 24 to 48 hours. Now, on occasion, I've had people ask me in the past, how often should I be steeping my compost tea? And to me, I don't really follow like a true science to it. I just come out every couple of hours and just kind of lift the bag up and then place it back down and allow the compost tea to kind of do its thing. Because remember, we have the air flowing through the mixture, so that's really is what's going to create that aerobic situation to really drive those microbes to go ahead and pull from your soil. Not to mention, we do have that molasses off in the concoction as well. So now that you've had a full 48 hours to allow your tea to brew, now it's time to simply strain and use. And now that you've created your compost tea, it's best to go ahead and use within the first 24 hours after brewing. Reason being is compost tea is not meant to be stored, and you would be putting yourself in a situation where you're creating more harmful bacteria that you would be potentially putting into your soil. And now that you've brewed it up, It's tea time for your plants. If you would like the full recipe as well as alternative ingredients, I'll make sure to place it in the captions and the description for you. But as always, guys, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Talk to you again real soon.